Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Today, we are going to be talking about the 5 things that school never taught me about life. And this is not to knock schools, okay? Maybe I wasn't listening. That really could have happened, 100%. But I think there are some things that you really need to know, and some life lessons and some life things that you may not even fully comprehend when you're that age and when you're at school. But I dare say in the 15 years that you're at school, from primary school all the way through to high school, you probably should learn some of these subjects and just facts about life. Number 1, and this is more spiritual. You're not going to learn this at school, but you need to address issues in your life, problems, concerns, things that have happened, even little things, the tiny little things that you feel are not right. You need to address those ASAP, as soon as possible. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you need to have the tough conversations. If you feel like something's not right in your relationship, in your job, in anything, whatever it may be, whatever you're trying to achieve, even within yourself, if you feel that there's something that's not quite right with you, you need to address those issues as soon as possible. Why? Because you are just going to run yourself into trouble down the track. These things, these little problems and issues and concerns, if you sit on them, if you go, oh, it'll just blow over, it'll be okay. Most of the time it doesn't, and it builds and it gets worse and it turns into a major issue, and then you have a lot of heartache, a lot of pain, a lot of struggles. So if it's anything at all, and I can give you a couple of examples, like addictions. If you have an addiction to something and someone comes to you and says, look man, I think you need to settle down on whatever it may be, the drinking, the drugs, the critical thinking, the overprotective nature of your family, maybe you're yelling at your family and you don't know why, and you didn't even know that you were doing it, something, you've got to drop the ego and you've got to think, do I do that? Maybe I do that. And how can I resolve that? And I need to go and get it addressed as soon as possible, because the little issues can turn into big issues and then you seriously have problems. So that's one example. Maybe you're living in the past. Maybe you're a bit depressed or a bit anxious. We all go through this. Don't feel bad about it. But you need to address this as soon as possible. You need to go and speak to someone. Okay, because you've got to address the problems as soon as possible. Because if you don't, I can guarantee down the track it's going to get worse. So, number 1 was address any issues or problems that come to life. Perfect. Number two, do what you are scared to do. Do what you're scared to do. And this is the thing that, school can breed this in people, because when you're sitting in a classroom full of people, now this is back in my day, it might be different now, or it might be the same, but when you're sitting in a group of people around a circle with a teacher in the middle, and they ask you a question, or they ask the class a question, no one puts their hand up to answer that question. Why? Because they're scared to be wrong in front of a group of people. And it's almost unconscious sometimes. And you don't realize that you do it, but you got to do what you're scared to do. You got to see, the people who are not scared about being wrong get the furthest. They're not scared of being wrong. If they're wrong, they know they're wrong and then they can fix it. But you got to address the fears. Same thing. You got to address the fears as soon as possible. Like for me, I jumped out of a plane, I went and skydove, and was I scared to do it? Well, I actually wasn't. I was more excited to do it. But the fact is that most people would be scared to jump out of a plane. But for me, I turned that fear into excitement, and I was like, let's go and do it and see what happens, huh? you know? Like, but address, no matter how small or big those fears are, you've got to do it. And that's the same as addressing your problems, because you're scared of your problems most of the time. You're scared it's going to turn into something more. You're scared that you're going to make a massive mistake or that the person's going to hate you for it. It doesn't matter. You got to go and do it. Address your fears. Do it as soon as you can. As soon as you can. Why? Why? Why would you even do this? Because it breeds confidence. If you go and break through your fears and go and do things that you never thought you would ever do, you're going to be a more confident person. You're going to see what you can actually achieve in this life. And literally, you're going to transform. You're going to start tapping on your potential as a human being. And you'll come out a total different person at the end of the day. And you will think to yourself, man, thank God that I addressed these problems. Thank God that I faced my fears, because now I am a better person because of it. Wow. Where was the lesson on that at school? That maybe they do that now. Geez, I hope so. But anyway, that's number 2. Number 3. Learn how the world works. I mean, I didn't know anything about the world when I stepped out into it. All I knew is that I have to do something. I finished year 11. I didn't do year 12. I finished year 11. And I went, well, what am I going to do? I know that they school said to me in the last 2 years that I have to go get a job. And mum said to me, you better go and make some money. I was like, okay, what am I going to do? And I was like, well, I enjoyed my hobby. I'll just go do my hobby. And then I went and did it, But I didn't think much further than that, right? And you got to think about how the world works, because school, for instance, everyone gets a trophy. No one fails, no matter what you do. It's ridiculous. It's not even a system anymore. It's just you can do whatever you like and you'll more than likely pass. And I don't know why that is. But I'm just saying that it's a participation trophy. And then you end up in the real world. Nah, you get in the real world and you do not get a participation trophy. You do not get paid just for turning up and doing very little. Okay, if you want to be successful in life, this is what I wish they taught you. If you want to be successful in life, you need to be productive. You need to produce something. You need to be a performer. You need to go in there and work hard and create something. You've got to be productive. You get back in this life what you put in most of the time. And I work on percentages. So if it's a high percentage, if you go in there and work hard and be productive and create things, you will actually get something back. And you'll probably get back exactly what you want. So there you go. Think about how the world works. Learn how the world works. Learn about investing money, all that type of thing, because sad to say it, but money is what the world runs off. They don't teach you that in school. They teach you to get a job. But anyway, we'll move on. So that was number 3. Number 4, finance. Backing off onto the one that we just had. School never taught me tax. I still have sort of limited idea of how the tax system works. The more I learn about it, the more complex it gets. Profit and loss. Profit and loss. Never taught me that. That's probably the most important thing that you could ever learn is profit and loss. It's like if I buy a house, if I buy a car, if I get pets, if I, what are my expenses versus my income. If I go and get loans, can I cover my loans if I go and do that? Is there buffers in there to make sure that I'm protected if something happens? You lose your job, you lose your income. How does that affect your profit and loss? Like maybe a small business class or economics or something maybe can teach you that these days. And if it is there, I'd recommend you highly do that class. Highly do it. Because you need to learn finance. Finance is key. I hated math as a kid. I hated maths at school. I was never any good at it. I didn't understand much of it, if anything, right? And I got kicked out of maths class in year 11, I think, somewhere around there. Yeah, I didn't even make it through the year. And no one really explained to me why this would be important, and maybe they did, and I just didn't see the value, because I think you're just too young, man. You don't understand. And that comes back to not knowing how the world works, and you never learnt any of that. These are the main subjects, right? So stick at maths, understand that maths is your ticket. Even just basic maths, that's all you need to know to learn finance, to help you with profit and loss, and just to work out the everyday life stuff that you need, because finance, money, sadly, it's not everything in life, but it's a massive contributor to how successful you will be and how free you will be in your life. So anyway, that was number 4, which was finance. Number 5, this could make or break you even before you leave school. Even before you leave school. That's how powerful this is. Be careful who you surround yourself with. Be careful who you surround yourself with. They say that like the 5 closest friends you have, you are the average of the 5 closest friends you have. And I 100% believe that's true. When I was in school, I got surrounded by people who were good. Like I had several different groups when I was coming through school, and they shaped my life. Honestly, they literally shaped my life. I had some kids that were into sports, some friends that were into sports, loved sports. They enjoyed some partying and stuff like that, but mainly sports. So I grew up as a sports person. I enjoyed sports, you know. And then I had some other guys who were into IT, loved IT, and I'm into IT, you know. And I don't know if that was my decision or was that just me following them. I'm not sure. And think about you, the people and the friends that you grew up with. You know, have they shaped your life? And maybe that's not what you want to actually do. You have to go and try other things to see if there's something else out there. So this is what I'm saying. And be careful, because if you get in the wrong group of people, like if you think it's all fun and games when you're in school and you're taking drugs and drinking and going out every weekend and getting drunk and passing out and whatever, if you're doing that, like you need to sort of think to yourself, is this the person that I want to become? And they say that like doing all that type of stuff when you're young, yeah, it's all fun. I don't know where that bullshit story comes from, but you can wreck your life. You can seriously wreck your life by being around the wrong people. And you know what the exciting part about that is? That you can also be super, super, super successful and super smart and recreate your whole life and change everything about you and get everything that you want in life by hanging around the right people, by just changing your surroundings, learning from the people who are successful, who have what you want, you know? So it works both ways. It's not all negative. It's actually massively, massively positive. And the most important asset that you can have is your brain, is what goes in your brain and what you surround yourself with. So remember, be careful who you surround yourself with. That was number 5. And we've got a bonus one. I'm going to throw in a bonus one. And this is the most unconscious thing I think that most people don't even realize that they struggle with. And this could blow your mind, but the small decisions that you make every day, the ones you think are inconsequential, don't matter, don't mean anything, those small, tiny little whispers in your brain, those all add up to the person you are today. They create who you are. Do not take those tiny little decisions for granted. So say you want to eat and there's a nice healthy place over on your left-hand side there. Then the right-hand side, there's McDonald's. Now, I'm not picking on McDonald's, but what I'm saying is that you need to make a decision. And you're not thinking at the time, you're just like, oh, I just want something fast, so I'll just go get McDonald's. It's fine. But you do that every single day. You do that 3 times a day. That all compounds and that turns you into the person that you are today. Are you after cheap, fast, and easy? Or are you after complex, nutritious, healthy? That's going to transform your body, how you think, how much energy you have, how much focus you have. Like, these tiny little decisions are everything. So you've got to try and get your life on track and really focus on those tiny little decisions. So that was number 6. Be aware of the tiny little smidgen decisions that you think don't mean anything, because they mean a lot. Okay, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. That was just a quick one. I really do appreciate you checking out this video. If you want to subscribe, hell, do it. And I will talk to you in the next one. Peace.